Hello students. Okay, so we are almost by the end of this syllabus and we have very few little things to discuss furthermore. Most of the things has been discussed and I guess you have been practicing doing this storyboarding. So today we are going to talk about the introduction of location and the introduction of characters, mainly these two things. Okay, now in a story these two things plays the most vital role for introducing the plot or for the whole plot. The plot of the story, that is a main backbone of the story, takes place in a close relation between the location and the characters, right? There is a place in which there are few people and the story is about them. So as much as important as the characters, the location is also very important, right? And it plays a vital role in developing the story, how the story is developed in a way based on a certain location, right? And it's mainly where the main events are taking place. So for example, it's your story is about future, right? It's a futurist story. Now you have to show the location. Your location, wherever there is in your story, must reflect or must show that your story is taking place in a future time, right? However, we are seeing the world today around us, or the buildings, the cars, etc., will not be the same after maybe 1,000 years, right? So if your story is set, if the time of your story is set after 1,000 years, then the location will also change accordingly, right? And that will, how you are showing your location will also give a very clear idea in the mind of the viewers that okay, here is my story taking place, this is the time. So the location gives the idea of the time where your story or when your story is taking place, right? As similar to, for example, again, if your story is about the corporate, the there are a few characters who belong to the business world or the corporate world, so your locations will mostly be big offices, tall buildings, the business areas, etc., right? That again gives a clear idea in the mind of the viewers that this particular story is taking place in about these people who are working in this corporate world, right? If your story is about college boys or college guys or school boys or school children, right, then again the main location of your story should be a college campus or a school campus, etc., right? So it gives a very clear idea, a proper location. If you're showing from the beginning in your storyboard or in your film, it gives a very clear idea to the viewers that where your story is taking place, right? That is why it's very important to think about your location, and you need to think in detail, right? For example, as I said, your story is about a business man, okay, a person who is attached with the corporate world or the business world, right? So this is mainly, the story is taking place in a city, right? So even if there is no detail of the location in your script, and as a storyboard artist, you need to think about what kind of location you need to set up. It has to be linked with these characters or these your major plot. So you have to think that okay, my location is an urban city, but what are the buildings I'm mainly going to show? Where the big business people, these big shot people, these big huge business tycoons, these corporate leaders, these people visits. They don't visit very local market or this kind of places. They visit big hotels, huge conferences, big tall buildings. So mostly your location will reflect those things. Again, if your story is about a for example a middle class man, okay, then again your location will not show these kind of huge buildings. They will show a location that is related to a middle class man. Got it? So you need to, as storyboard artists, when you are drawing the locations as an introduction to the story, you need to think these things in details. What kind of backgrounds you are going to use in the storyboard, that shows a lot about the main story. All right, the main idea of the story. Okay, so detailing of the main location, whether it is indoor or outdoor. Again, the indoor of a house of a rich man is very different from the indoor of a house of a poor man. So if your story is about the poor man, think about how or what can be the indoor of that person, what can be, how the inside of the house, what kind of furnitures, what kind of wall texture or whatever can be there in this poor man's house. Again, if it's a very rich person, then what kind of house you might draw. So these two different houses must be shown in the storyboard. Then only when I'm seeing the storyboard, when you're showing the storyboard to me, I will get a very clear idea, even you not telling anything, even I am not knowing anything about the main character, right, that this house is of a poor man. Looking at the drawing of your interior or of your indoor room, I will understand that, right? Similarly, the outdoor, as I said, what kind of setup your story is, where your plot is developed, where your story is going on, should be shown properly in these location drawings based on indoor or outdoor or whatever, right? So to introduce the characters, location plays a very important role to what kind of story it is, what kind of characters we are talking about. If we are talking about in a story some street guys, right, then some people or characters who are living in the streets, then those kind of streets or those kind of background drawings should be there, right? So the main characters or whatever the major characters in the story has a very very direct relationship with the location. Keep that in your mind very carefully. Okay, so for example, if the main character is a schoolboy, you need to show the character in a school bus or in a school at least once, to establish the fact in the viewer's mind that this character is a schoolboy. If you just show that the character is walking down or coming down from a school bus, that this boy is coming down from a school bus or leaving the school gate, then in one single frame you can explain to the viewers that okay, my main character is a schoolboy. Got it? So these relations you should make whenever you are thinking of the location. In a film, not animation, but in a film, there is a group of people before starting the shooting. They go to the places led by the director and find out the best locations where they can shoot. That system is called Reiki. Doing the Reiki of the shoot, that is finding the best location for the shooting. Okay, this is done before most of the films. So for example, if there is a bank scene, okay, if there is in a film there is a shot where I need to show a bank, okay, so you need to find out what is the best location suitable for that kind of shot, or they make the location in film sets, right? They make this huge film outdoor and indoor sets where they make the location. Nowadays they all create it mostly in green screen, right? So but for every time whenever they are making the location, filmmakers are very careful in the respect of what they are actually going to show, what are the what are the major things that when the viewers will see in the location, that will become very clear to the mind of the audience, that what my story is about, where this story is taking place, etc. Okay, so for you now, whenever you are drawing the location, be very careful. Just don't draw a room, that interior of the room, then there is a table and a chair. That explains nothing. Okay, even if there is only a table and a chair, what kind of chair it is it a very lavish, big, huge, very costly chair, or just a normal wooden chair, right? So this difference shows the difference of the person living in that room, right? So you can explain a lot of things just by drawing or just by showing certain things in the background or in the location, making the location. Okay, so similar to the location, characters introduction is very important in the story, right? How the character is introduced, like I said, how the location is introduced, it's very important in the story to show the plot, to show the main story, I mean type, what kind of story it is, where the story is taking place, etc. The time frame, if it is 1940s story, a story set up in 1940, then of course the whole setup will be completely different. Similarly, character introduction is very important. Introducing, how you are introducing the character in your story. Okay, now remember, whenever you are drawing a character, I have seen in your many of your storyboards, whenever you are drawing the character, at least once you should draw the character in its detailing. What kind of dress he is wearing, what kind of face he has, so that detailing should be there at least once. Okay, if you draw that detailing in every frame, best. But if you are not drawing that much detailing in every frame, but in the beginning, the hairstyle, whether the character is wearing eyeglasses or not, what is the t-shirt the character wearing, what is the dress the character wearing, what is the shoes the character wearing, all those detailings should be there. So all the detailing of the character should be there in your story. Okay, when you are taking a close-up shot, the detailing of the face, right? When you are taking a long shot, the detailing of the dress, how the character is standing, the whole dress. So all these details should be shown in your storyboard. Remember that. Okay, or else the viewers will not have a very clear picture in their mind that who the character is. Okay, what is the personality of the character, what kind of dress the character wears. Okay, so that detailing should be there in your stories, in your storyboard, right? Now how you are introducing a character is sometimes based on what kind of story it is. For example, if it's an action film, characters are introduced through fight scenes. In most action films, you will see that they will show the main characters, okay, at the beginning of the film in a fight scene, right? That will show that this character, that we are, first of all, we are seeing an action film, okay, and this character is a fighter or a soldier or a police officer or whatever it is, right? So if it's a romantic film, the character will not be shown in a fight scene at the very beginning. Okay, if it's a horror film, the character will be shown being afraid of the ghost or whatever, right? So what kind of film you are actually making, or what kind of whatever the genre of the film is, characters are introduced mostly in that way. Okay, for this, see some examples of some films. Okay, whatever film you pick, and keep in your mind and notice how the characters are introduced, how the main characters are introduced. Alright, so see some films, any film, any kind of film, if you see, try to notice how the main characters are first introduced in the film. Okay, you will understand. Okay, if you all remember the Avengers film, right, how the characters are introduced, got it? So that is very important, how you are introducing the characters in your film based on the story. Okay, what kind of story it is. All right, and that gives a very clear idea about the story, also a very clear idea about the character. Okay, to the viewer's mind, whatever your storytelling technique is, or whatever your storyboard, the way you are developing, always remember the whole picture, the whole idea should be very, very clear in the viewer's mind. They should not be confused. Okay, in some films we might see that we don't understand what is going on, but sometimes it is that if it's a very good film, then sometimes the director is creating that suspense, that we are not very clear that whatever is going on. But if a film is all about confusion, right, we are not understanding whatever is happening, who the character, why suddenly that character came, and then it's not a very good film. Okay, so in whatever ways you want to show the character's first introduction, okay, that should be done in a very, very proper way. Different locations for antagonist and protagonist characters. It's best if your film has 5 main characters, for example, or 3 main characters, well, some of them antagonist, some of them protagonist. Okay, protagonist means the hero character, antagonist means the villain character. So whatever kind of the 3 main characters or 5 main characters, it's best if you show those characters in different locations. Okay, then the viewers will get a very clear idea about where the character is coming from. Each of the 3 or the 5 or 7 or how many ever main characters are in your film, they have different background stories. They are not the same persons, right? So if there are these multiple characters in your film, then if you show them in different types of location at the beginning, then it is easier for the viewers to understand. Okay, for example, if you are just showing a couple, a husband and wife character, no need to show them in different locations, right, because they are both together. But if you are making a film, if your story is about 2 friends, okay, coming from 2 different parts of this world, then it's best to introduce them. For example, the story is about one girl and one boy. The boy is from China and the girl is from India. Then it's best if you just show the girl at the beginning, and the character, you are introducing the characters coming from India or in India, the background will be in India, and the boy in China, right? So if you introduce the characters like that, it's easier for the viewers to understand in 1 or 2 shot that okay, this girl is from India and the guy is from China, right? That is very, very important. All right, again, explaining whatever is happening in the film in 1 or 2 shots. Okay, this is very important. I am repeatedly telling you, need to understand the viewers about where the story is taking place, about the location in 1 or 2 shots. You need to show the viewers about who the characters are in 1 or 2 shots. Okay, so maximum 3 or maximum 4 shots, not more than that. If even after 4 shots, even after 3 shots, still the viewers can't understand who the main character is or where the main character is, okay, that's a problem, right? So introduction, I am not telling about the whole story, I am not telling about how the character is moving in the story, or what are the 15 different or 20 different locations. I am just talking about introduction, okay, beginning, at the very beginning, how you are showing the location, how you are showing the characters, the main characters, the minor characters, whatever. Okay, so that is very important. How you start the film, how you begin your story is very important in a film or in an animation. Okay, if your first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of a film is boring, okay, you don't find to finish the film, right? If you're 5 minutes or 10 minutes you are not finding any interest, or you are confused about whatever it's happening, it's sometimes you just don't see the film, right? So the beginning of the film, beginning of your story is very important. So now, like you have done couple of storyboards, now think of how you can begin your film. Got it? How you can begin your storyboard. So whenever you have a story and you're converting to a storyboard, or even whenever you are, this same applies to a script. Okay, whenever you're starting to write the script, what is the beginning, what is the opening scene? All right, so that is very, 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 very important. Also, you can add some props to the character to add it interest. For example, to show the characters, this character loves music. Okay, my main character loves music. You can just make him carry an headphone. Sometimes he is putting on the headphone. Okay, that shows that the characters listen to music. Got it? So again, these are called props, right? Different types of things that the characters carry or interact with. Okay, these are called props. So these can also add an interest to the characters. We had detailed video about explaining to you about the props of the character, right? How you can use them. So this is very important of how you start the film. Okay, to understand that, it's the only way is to see a lot of film. That's the only way, right? I can't, even if I say examples from films, if you have not seen them, you can't understand. So it's best that you need to see some films, right? I am sure you have seen a lot of movies, and if you have not, do it. It's very important, or else you can't write a good script or make a good storyboard or a good story. And observe how the characters are introduced, how the beginning of the film is. Okay, so just to summarize, whatever we have learned today is the introduction of those two things, the introduction, okay, of the characters and the location, both of it, how it's starting, the location and the characters, right? The plot introduction comes through the location where the story is taking place. It's very important. Again, detailing whether it is indoor or outdoor. Outdoor, if it's a city or whatever the location is, what kind of time it is representing, what kind of city it is, about whom the story is. If the story is about middle class people, then the city or the location will be of not of a very high tall buildings and everything, right? If you have seen a movie called Parasite, it won Oscar last year, right? It's a Korean film. See this film if you you can download and see this film, Parasite. It's a very, very good film, and it shows how important the locations of the film are, right? So and again that relationship between the location and the character should be well established. If, from whatever your whoever your character is, the location and the background drawings etc should represent that character's work or whatever, right? Where the character is living or the what the character is doing etc, right? So for example, if the character is about a school boy, then you should show the school or the boy coming out of the school or the boy coming out of the school bus. Even the school bus is dropping the boy in his home. So in one moment you understand this character who is a boy is basically a school boy, right? So you get that idea. With the location, important is characters, right? Introduction of the characters based on kind of the what kind of story you are telling. Sometimes introduction of characters based on that. So if in an action film at the beginning you show the character in a thrilling situation or in a action filled situation or in a fight scene or whatever, right? Different locations for different characters. Antagonist character are shown in its different location, protagonist characters are shown in different locations to give a very clear idea about in the viewer's mind about the different setups from where the characters are coming etc. Okay, character props can be used to give an added interest. Now it's your responsibility how you make your characters interesting, how you make your story interesting, right? Now you have to think about what are the things I can do to make interest, to make the characters believable or make the character very much interesting. Now if there is a college boy, I can just draw for example, if there is a college guy, right? I'm very roughly drawing. Okay, so this is a drawing of a guy, you know, young guy. This is okay, this is clear. But if I add some detail, for example, if I add a headphone, make some trendy hairstyle, okay, just make something right on the t-shirt, Draw the detail of the shoes. Add a backpack. Right, so if I just do like this, it gives a added interest to the whole character design. Right, now it is much more clear than the before drawing, right, that this is a college guy or something. Even if it is even if it was clear before, but this shows much more detailing in the costume the character is wearing or whatever, right? Okay, so these things must be done. Right, so similarly, if I am just drawing a character who is a soldier, right, so just some rough drawing I'm showing. Okay, so when I'm showing this kind of a drawing, it immediately comes to my mind that this is a soldier, right? Now what about the background? When I'm putting a background like this, maybe the battlefield or something, or a trench. Maybe smoke is coming out from somewhere. Some battles are going on. Maybe far away buildings are broken because of some bombing or something. Right, so these kind of introduction of the characters and the location makes things much more easier to understand. Now this for this character, maybe a college boy, so maybe in a campus or maybe in a playground. Okay, whatever. So this kind of relationship between the character and the background, okay, detailing of the character, for example just this thing, okay, or the Nike logo, or the detailing of the shoes, these things are very important for explaining the character in properly, or the location, whatever, wherever the story is taking place, etc., properly to the viewers. Okay, so keep these things in your mind whenever you are doing the storyboarding, or even whenever you are writing the script. Now what you are going to do now, this is a class exercise for this class also. On Wednesday class you can do it. Draw a 3 panel, just 3 panel, okay, not more than 3 panel. In 3 panels, okay, you need to introduce the main character, the main hero character, okay, either a male or a female, both is fine, okay, male or a female. You need to introduce the main hero character in the story in just 3 panel, okay. So for example, the beginning of the story is for example, the character's name is Mark came out of the house and walked down the street. Okay, so Mark came out of the house and walked down the street. Very simple, right? But what you need to show here, who is Mark, okay, what's the age of Mark, okay, dress, what is Mark wearing, right? If Mark is your college guy, he will wear some different kind of dress than if he is a office going person, right? Next is what Mark is thinking. So expression of Mark, right? What he is thinking. If he is carrying some props, like I said, the headphones can be a prop, the sunglass can be a eyeglass can be a prop, or whatever, right? Is there particular anything you need to show, right, in relation to the story? Is there any particular something you just need to show? For example, Mark is tensed, okay, so you need to show that in some way, right? So think about that. Your main assignment is, your main work is just in 3 panel. This needs to be done in 3 panel, okay, in 3 shots. So this is shot 1, shot 2 and shot 3, okay. In 3 panels, 3 shots, you need to introduce and this is the beginning of your scene. This is scene 1, shot 1, right? So the beginning of your story, and that this story is starting from introduction of this character who is Mark, okay, or whoever the character is, your main character, male, female, whoever the character is. Got it? That character is introducing, you need to introduce in these 3 shots, only in 3 shots. So the first can be, for example, I am showing Mark in detail coming out of the house. Next can be the expression of Mark, okay. Next can be in his hand, okay, he is carrying a book, alright. So just these 3 shots can be an introduction of the character. So think about it and you do it. Got it? A 3-panel detailed storyboard, and the background needs to be detailed, the character needs to be in detail. I just have shown you by drawing how can it be detailed. All right. Detailed storyboard introducing the main character. All right, so do it. Use today's class remaining time. Also you can use Wednesday's class doing the same thing, or I will give some other assignment to do on Wednesday. Got it? So mostly we have covered the syllabus, not much thing is remaining. Next week in the video I will just give an overall, we will do a revision of starting from story to storyboard to everything. Just I will recapitulate it, and we will talk about what you will do in as your final exam. Okay. All right, I'm ending this video. Do this work now. Okay, and we will meet